Christina Sheree. If you're new, welcome to my channel, and I'd love it if you just take a quick sec and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're returning, it's always good to see you. So I'm popping up something real quick. It's my Instagram information. I'd love it if you guys go ahead and check me out there. I love to post things in between the looks that I do here and pictures of the looks so you can see them a little bit better. So check me out, Christina Sheree. Well, let's talk about Valentine's Day. Personally, it's not a big deal for me, but it is that time of year when everything red and pink and all that stuff comes out, and luckily for me, I actually really love pink. I love to wear pink, so I'm always a happy camper when it comes to that stuff. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about a new collection from one of my favorite brands with, of course, one of my favorite colors, I just said. So, I mean, it kind of went well for me in that sense. If that makes any sense. Anyway, today, I'm going to talk about... Today I'm going to dive into the new Love Connection. Well, I mean, yeah, Connection, Collection. You know, they start with C's. NATASHA DENONA. So, we have her palette. Can we talk about this? I love packaging. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I kind of rant about it. So, I'm going to try to keep it contained. But these are really... Let me see if you can see it. Really beautiful in person, even just the packaging. So we got the palette and the cheek palette. So we're going to dive into this today, and I will leave timestamps below in case you just want to see, you know, swatches, my thoughts, the tutorial, all that good stuff. I will leave it in the description below. Starting with the Afterglow palette. Oh, it's so pretty. You can just play with it. It's not going. It's not moving. Oh, there we go. It's moving now. I'm such a kid sometimes. Anyway, you didn't come to see me play with the outside of the packaging, but when it talk about details, it's a really hard plastic. It has this really pretty, fun, glittery thing on the front, and yeah, it's pretty compact. If you have any of her other cheek palettes, it's the same size. It's slightly higher here because of all the glitter in there. But this is what the actual palette looks like inside. So pretty. So I'm actually going to swatch this palette today. I already have blush on. You may not even really be able to see it. I usually use a light blush. It's NARS Orgasm. But I'm going to swatch this one and actually compare it to the Bloom palette. So kind of show you those side by side. But to give you a little details on this, I'm going to look down because I have notes and I want to share it. So looking at the details of this palette, this here is actually a nice little, try to do it without dinging the shadow. It's a nice little plastic divider that keeps the cream base away from the other powder so they don't mix, which would be a hot mess. But detail on the palette. So this one costs $55. The first color is a Glow Cream Base, which is 2.8 grams of product, which is a rosy red metallic finish, and I will swatch it for you. The next here we have the Super Glow. Turn it sideways so you can see it. This one here is 3.5 grams of product. It's a peachy pink with gold reflex. It has a duochrome finish. And then we have this one here. This one is her diamond powder. It's 2.5 grams of product. It's really kind of more of a cheek topper. But this one has hot pink with rose gold and rose gold reflex with a duochrome finish. And then this one here is 3.2 grams of product, and it's a cool champagne with a metallic finish. So let me actually swatch this one for you. So first up, I'm swatching the Glow Cream Base. See if you can actually, the camera picks that up. Maybe if I come back this way. May not pick it up so well. It's very light. Next up we have the Super Glow, which is that peachy pink. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Then we have her Diamond Powder, which is the hot pink with rose gold. That one there. And lastly is the Glow Impact Powder. There. actually like this palette because on a daily basis I kind of really more so want just a flush of color on my cheeks. I don't really like it to scream blush, which for me this one works out perfectly. But let me show you this palette in comparison to her Bloom palette. So here you have the Love, the new one, and here's the Bloom. So definitely the Bloom is going to give you much more saturation, and I'll swatch them next to each other, and this is for sure a lighter look, which I like to have the option. So swatching it right next to the Bloom palette, the first color in, swatching it next to the Love palette is the Bloom palette. And looking at her Glow Cream base, this one here, I didn't leave myself a lot of space. This is the Bloom palette. I have a mirror in front of me, that's why I'm like, can you see those two? A little bit. So those are the bases. Then the cream blush. So the new Love palette does not have a cream blush. It has a cream glow base, but here's the cream blush. Crazy pigmented. Totally different. And then the Glow Extreme in the blue palette next to the diamond powder in the Love. And then lastly, the Duo Glow in her Bloom palette next to the Glow Impact powder in the Love. Hopefully the camera picks this up. In person, there's a huge difference between these palettes. So just to kind of give you a comparison, if you're looking for something that is definitely much lighter, a little bit of color, more of a bit of a glow, not so much saturation, than the Love palette, the new one, I would say for sure is a really good bet. So trying to pull it up here, this one here. But if you definitely like the rosy but sort of corally, peachy, high saturation, then I would go for her Bloom palette. Okay, so now for the details on this palette. It is called the Love palette. It is $65 and it's a limited edition. It has a 24-month shelf life with 19.25 grams of product for the entire palette. It's got some mixtures of matte, metallic, duochrome, and chroma crystal. So she does have her cream to powder, I think that's what it's called, cream to powder matte formula, which is, I like. It's really super soft. Some information that she does give on this palette is, you know, I mean, these are things that you probably already know, but just for the purpose of this overall review, if you're looking at the mattes, you definitely want to apply with a fluffy brush to blend, and you can use a detail brush for a bit more precision. If you're looking at her metallic, her duochrome, and her chroma crystals, a dense eyeshadow brush will give you a subtle finish, but you're going to get the most payoff if you use your finger or if you take a brush and you wet it with like Fix Plus or something like that. It'll really give you that high payoff foiled look. So this is the palette. And now let's dive into some swatches on it. Okay, so here's the palette swatch. The first color we have is called First. Then we have Lifetime, Heartbeat, Transparent, which is gorgeous. We have Trust. And we have Heart, Giving, which is such a beautiful color. I don't know if you can see that flip. And then this one I love a lot, Pure Love. Then Commitment. Commitment actually looks darker in the pan. Blind. Soul, which is there, but it didn't swatch all that well. Then we have Passion, Intense, Valentine, and Dream. So this is the palette swatched. Alright guys, so my eyes are primed and I just want to dive into this palette and see what I can come up with. I kind of really want to do something that's pretty light and ethereal. I always say that and end up going super smoky with like a lot of just the opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, forgot to mention, my primer I used was the Fenty primer. I'm not going to set it because the Fenty primer, it's really good for bringing out the vibrancy of color, so let's see what it can do with that. So the first color I'm going to go into is the color Soul, and I'm picking up my Morphe M518, so this brush here. Tap off a little bit. Now go ahead and place this in my transition area, and go ahead and place it where I really want the most saturation first, and then I'm going to go ahead and blend it out and do like windshield wiper motions and circular motions. You know, I like the color Soul. I actually took a lot of time to blend it and blow it out just all around here, and it's a really pretty color. It didn't take too much to blend it out. I patted it where I wanted to, made sure I had the saturation, and then just blended it. Picking up my ColourPop E18, so this brush here, I'm going into the color Heartbeat, and I'm going to place this color on the outer third of the lid. So packing it on and starting to build out that outer V. Okay, so I took the color Heartbeat, packed it on the outer third of my lid, and then now I'm taking the same brush that I used for Soul and just blending that into the transition area, focusing on the outer third, just so that there is a seamless transition between those two colors. They actually look pretty similar, at least to me. There's not a huge difference between them, but moving it on, gonna do the other side. Alright, so now I'm picking up my Sigma E58 and going into the color Transparent. I'm just going to see how well this color lays with just the brush before deciding if I use my finger or foil it with, you know, Fix Plus or something. So I'm actually going to take it and put it all over the rest of the lid. So from the inner right to where this other color we just placed. And when I get close to where it is here, just going to pat it to kind of give it a bit more of a blend, so it's not just one color starts and then the other one. Alright, so I'm actually going to take the same brush and just use, if I can figure out what side I used. Actually, just gonna switch the color off because I can't figure out what side I used. Issues. Alright, so same brush, my Sigma E58. I'm now going into the color Giving, and I'm going to place Giving right over where I just placed Transparent. Just pat it on. Okay, I like that. I usually will Fix Plus the brush to give it like a lot of punch, but I'm only going to do that for one step in just a second. So switch the color off the same brush. I'm taking it, and now I'm going to actually take the color Passion and just use Passion to kind of bridge where we had, what color is that? Heartbeat, the matte in this one. So just kind of place it right here. Alright, so same brush, switch the color off. I'm now taking a little bit of Passion first. So put a little bit of Passion and then a little bit of Giving on top of it. And I'm actually going to Fix Plus the brush and place it just in the center. Now I'm resisting the urge to actually like foil even more because I'm trying to make it a little bit softer. Alright, so this is what we have so far. Hopefully you can see. the gradient on camera. Alright, next steps. Alright, so picking up my Mel Cosmetics blending brush, I'm going into the color Soul and just getting a little bit on it and starting to smoke out the lower lash line. I just want a light wash of color because I'm actually going to put shimmers on top of that. So just a little bit, kind of smoke it down, connect it to the top, smoke it down to about right there. Yeah, I'm going to do the other side. Alright, so picking up my Morphe MB26, I'm going to try to do kind of an all shimmer underneath and see what that looks like. Okay, so picking up the color Passion, I'm going to Fix Plus the brush and place this on the lower lash, starting from the outer third and bringing it to about right there and smoking it down. Same brush, I switched off the color Passion. Now I'm actually picking up the color Giving, and I'm going to Fix Plus the brush and run it from my, sorry I'm looking down because I'm putting it on my brush, and run it from my inner corner to right where that color just started, if that's the best way to describe it. So pretty much taking it from the inner all the way from the inner till midway. Okay, same brush, switched off the color. I'm going into the color Lifetime, and I'm going to Fix Plus the brush again. And for this color, I just want a little bit more contrast and make it pop, so I'm just going to place it in the center of my lower lash. Okay, so to add a little bit of depth, I'm taking my Mel Cosmetics Precision brush and I'm going into the color Commitment. And I want to darken out the outer V. So I'm going to run this right in the lashes, really close to the lashes at first, just to see where I'm going with it. Till about right there. So I'm going to take the same color and run it along the top. So the outer V, well, a little bit more than the outer V. I'm actually going to use it to smoke out the lash line. So like that, and then take it all the way across. I'm going to keep it kind of light and close to the lashes from mid-eye to the inner. And then once I get back on this corner, just bring it up a little bit higher and smoke it up a little bit more on the lid, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. Alright, so hope you can see that. The only other thing I'm going to do up top before I hop off camera and do lashes and liner, mascara and whatever else, is I'm actually going to take my NYX That's the Point, so this really thin liner here, and what I like to do is, lean forward so you can see it, I just go in between my lash, or really close to my lashes, and just kind of draw or trace along my lid really close. And what it does is it really darkens up that line between my lashes and my lid, and it actually makes my lashes look so much darker and fuller. So I do that all the time actually. I like the way it looks. Okay, so I guess the only other thing to do would be an inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight. I'm gonna dip into the cheek palette because I want something that's pretty subtle, because I really wanted to keep this look as light as possible. So I'm actually gonna take the diamond powder and find a mirror because I didn't take the, yeah. So I'm taking a little bit of the diamond powder from the cheek palette on my finger. Try to put just a little bit in my inner corner. Like that. It just gives it a little bit of extra oomph, but there's so much with the sparkle on the lid, and I really don't want it to be too much, so that's what I chose. You can always pick something that's a little bit more bling if you want. Blind in the palette is actually a pretty good one. But yeah, for that purpose, that's all I'm going to do. I'm taking a little bit of the color first on my Jaclyn Hill JH42 brush, just a little, and I'm going to use it as a brow bone highlight just to bring a little bit of light in contrast to the top. So as you can see, I kind of put way too much on one side, but just use your finger and Alright, so I'm going to head off camera, check my blending, make sure the edges are diffused, and do my mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, so I'm back. I did a couple of things off camera. I realized that I wanted it to be just a bit darker, so I took a little bit more of Heartbeat, like just a little bit, and smoked it just around lightly underneath the shimmer to tone it down a little bit. And I took a little bit of Blind. The color Blind is really pretty, and actually put it in my inner corner. I wanted it to pop just a little bit more. Aside from that, I took a black eyeliner and actually just tight lined underneath and went from about here, mid-eye to about there, and put a little bit of black in my waterline. Aside from that, I did my usual. I used my L'Oreal Voluminous lash primer. Love this stuff. I used it for my lashes, upper and lower. For my upper lashes, I used Damn Girl mascara from Too Faced, and for my lower ones, I just really like the brush on this. I used the It Cosmetics Tightline. It's a really nice thin wand on the brush. Nice to separate the lashes beneath. And yeah, that's all I did face-wise. Hope you like the look. Get a little closer. I really like doing pink looks. I mean, I think those are some of my favorites to do, and I have to tell myself not to do them as much as I would like to on my channel, because I could do a pink look every day. So this is right up my alley. Alright, so my final thoughts on this palette. This is a really, really pretty palette. I will say that in comparison to her other palettes, the quality on the mattes, I actually really had to pack it in there, and when I packed it on my brush and packed it on my lid, then I got much more saturation and I didn't see it skip, or it wasn't patchy. It blended out really nicely. But the difference between doing that and some of her other palettes, or pretty much all of them except for I think Tropic, those you don't need a lot on your brush, and the pigmentation is instantly there. It's so easy to blend. So this one I definitely had to use a different technique, which for a NATASHA DENONA palette, you kind of don't really want to do that, but I mean, I'm not super disappointed with it. I'm just letting you know that that is a difference that I saw with it. So you got to put in a lot more work with the mattes. The shimmers are great. I usually foil my shimmers to just give them a nice punch, and I didn't with this look, except for the bottom, and it really has a nice payoff. Like, I love it. Her shimmers are great for me. I really wanted to get into these duochromes, but didn't really dive into that today. Overall, I really like the palette. Make sure it's in frame. I think that if you like this color story, then it's the perfect palette for you to pick up, maybe add to your collection. It's not as rosy and as pinky as you think from what you see online. I really would say when it's in stores, I think in a couple of weeks, like February 6th or 7th or something like that, check it out. Swatch the colors, because it is a little bit different in person than it is online. But it's a beautiful palette. I mean, if you like NATASHA DENONA, Will you notice a difference with the mattes? Yeah, you will. I mean, if that's going to bother you, then I would say skip it. There's going to be a lot of palettes coming out now with this color story, and you know you probably already have it. But I really love NATASHA DENONA. I love the color story. Some of my favorite colors to do looks in, and I didn't mind putting in the extra work with the matte. So for me, I think it's for sure 2 thumbs up. And yeah, I don't really have, I did want to show you guys in comparison. I know a lot of people are comparing it to the Lila palette. Again, Lila has a different vibe to it altogether. So I would say, are there a couple of shades in there that's similar to the Love palette? Yeah, I would say more. Sorry, I'm going to reach over here. I don't know what I'm saying. Sorry, it's not like I'm reaching in front of you. I will say that the Love palette is probably closest. I keep my boxes. Does anybody else do that? Probably closest to the Anastasia Jackie Hill collab. Now the Jackie Hill one has a completely different vibe when you look at it from just the palette. Try not to drop things here and get them in frame. They do have different vibes altogether, but there are quite a few colors that can dupe for each other. I mean, you know, the purples are definitely one, and I believe it's Pinker is really close enough to Heartbeat in these 2 palettes. So there are a few. If you're looking at overall vibes, try not to blind you. If you're looking at overall vibes, very different. Are there some colors that are similar? Yeah, but I mean, if you're going for the Jackie Aina palette, it's a very different vibe than going from the Love palette. So, yes, you have the colors. Do you have them all together? No, different palettes for different reasons. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the palette. I think it's worth it. If you, again, you like NATASHA DENONA, you like the color story, you will have to put in a little bit extra work with the mattes. Not a huge deal for me. And it's Valentine's Day. If you want to treat yourself, I say do it. Treat yourself. Alright, well, that's all I have for you today. If you like this look, I hope you please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'm popping up my Instagram. I, again, really would love it if you guys could head over there and check me out. I'm trying to build a family here and a channel here and a following there. So for me, they go hand in hand. Just like to be creative on both. But yeah, so that's all I got for you. And I hope you have a wonderful morning, noon, or night. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Bye.